How's the fall been going for you and your guys, and what are some of the biggest takeaways you've had so far?
It's been good. They got great effort. We've gotten after it. We've been able to get about everything in, kind of finishing up this week and a little bit next week. Hitters a little ahead of the pitchers. We had some pitchers that are just, they're not out for injuries. They're just out this fall, just kind of trying to get them back.
We talked before about just last year. It seemed like every single person contributed in some form or fashion, one game or something like that. You had to move Luke Hancock over to first base, and he ended up coming up big for you. How did you feel like he performed in that role and moving over from catcher to first?
He was great. We kind of fought it a little bit. I ran him out there against Ole Miss on that Saturday game. They shot one right by him in the inning. I wasn't sure he could do it, but he actually is really good. He did a great job, and we've already talked this fall about the play him and Scotty DeBrule made there at the end. He's been great. He does whatever we need. We want him to catch a little bit more. We don't want LT to have to catch as many games, and it's better for Luke to catch them. I think his pro position is catcher, so we're still bouncing him back and forth. But he's one of the better hitters in the country.
The ball from that final out, didn't know where it was. Luke didn't know where it was. He gave it to you.
He gave it to me, and about 5 minutes later, I gave it to John Cohen. So John Cohen has it somewhere. Nobody had put in more time, more effort, dreamed about it more than John Cohen. So I felt like he deserved to have it last ball. But it was nice of Luke to give it to me. But I handed it to John as I gave him a hug on the field. So he probably has it under his pillow somewhere.
How many lineup spots do you think are kind of up for grabs? Because you have a good amount of guys from that lineup returning this year, but I mean, what would you say are like the biggest battles? Maybe like right or wherever?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we really have some, Brad Cummins has been out a lot of the fall. He's playing some left, so we have some outfield battles. Center field's a battle right now. We got a couple guys out there. Jess Davis is a new guy. Braylon Skinner, just some guys who can really defend out there. The offensive piece is going to dictate a little bit more. Kellum's playing right, so obviously it's a big bat in the lineup. He's got to still improve defensively. First, we have some, because of Luke catching some. Second base is a big, competition piece, and even third some because Cam's been out a little bit. So we're bouncing around and trying to see some different things. Most of our competition in the open spots is on the pitching staff. I think that's where you're going to see most of it, trying to figure out roles.
Well, Preston's out right now, but the confidence he got in the postseason, how much can that carry over?
Yeah, it's huge, and he's actually back. He pitched this week, so he's kind of back and just took some time off. And but yeah, the postseason and just guys have going through that experience for a group. I mean, we lost some tremendous players, but we didn't lose a ton of them. They were just really special ones. So we have a lot of guys back with a lot of experience, not just Omaha experience, just going through a year, fighting the ups, fighting the downs, playing in the tourneys, super regionals. All that experience, I think, is a huge advantage for us.
What's one guy you're kind of looking for to step into that big leadership role this year in the locker room?
I haven't figured that out yet. So we got some guys. I mean, Landon Sims is one of those guys who, last year was a sophomore and hadn't played a lot. And I think he takes a role like that. But also, I think the Logan Tanners, the Luke Hancocks, the Cameron James, some of those guys are definitely pieces. But sometimes it has to happen naturally. Sometimes you find out who your leaders are when things are bad and things are tough. And really, there's not too much tough in the fall. It rolls pretty easy in the fall for the most part.
You coach the defense, but you're also the guy that makes that lineup hard. And there were times last year we got a little defensive, and other times more offensive. So how do you find that balance this year when you maybe are a little more of an offensive team?
Yeah, I just think you're trying to figure out what wins that day. I think you're trying to look at it. We do have I really believe we have the best defensive catcher in the country. We have the best defensive shortstop in the country, and our two center fielders catch it. We're talking about playing defense in the middle. So I think defense is a big piece for us. I mean, I'm a true believer you're not going to win if you don't defend. You look at Omaha teams every year; they have the highest fielding percentage, and I think one reason we won last year is we didn't make errors down the stretch. I think that in the postseason we had 2 errors. Bednar took one in the dugout. Christian threw one on the net. It wasn't any position player, so I think that's a big piece. But that's going to be a fine line with this group. We do have some offensive players too. Trying to get the right guys in the right positions.
You just mentioned the mound a little earlier, and I mean, losing Christian, losing Will, losing Hootie, I mean, those are big faces of this program. So, I mean, obviously Jackson's a guy that's done it before. Preston is a guy that's thrown long innings in Omaha, 5 against Vanderbilt that outing. Do you kind of expect those 2 guys to slide into weekend roles, and do you have anyone else that you kind of got your eye on to start?
We've probably got about 6 guys in there. Preston, Cade Smith's one, who's had a pretty good fall. Brandon Smith, Stone Simmons. I mean, we have some older guys and some young kids. Some of our young kids have come out and had some good outings. They've had some tough ones, so it's just hard when you're facing this offense every day, it's a little tough.
With Jackson, what kind of lead do you think you can make in the second year?
You know, we'll see. He's only thrown 1 inning all fall, so it's really hard to tell right now. I think he can make a lot of them, though. Hold on 1 second. Hey, are we safe?
Yeah, I don't trust.
Just
but-
wait 1 second. Anybody else was hitting, I'd trust them. But
We'll just take a couple more.
no, you're good. We can take a couple more.
But what have you seen from the freshmen so far? Sladeoffer, Hunter Hines, especially those guys facing college pitching for the first time. What do you think?
They're really good. They got a chance to be really good players here. There's still some holes in the game, and Jordan Westbrook had holes in the game when they were young players, Justin Foscue. So I think they kind of fall in line with some of the, really good players that have been here, and they just got to work and get better. But those two, and you got an Aaron Downs, you got a Revy Higgins, just some of our young players. I really like some of the young kids we brought in.
How quick was the transition this summer from kind of the celebration and the parade here and everything to getting back into game shape and making sure you don't have like a championship hangover when the year starts?
That's been one of the things we've talked about a little bit, and I want them to enjoy it. We got back from Omaha and they left. 2 days later they left, or 3 days later they were gone, and I want them still. We're going to celebrate the national championship team here in a couple weeks for the football game, but it's a mature group. I mean, they're focused on next year. They know this team right here isn't the national championship team. That was last year. It's a really good team. We got a nice trophy. We put it up and recognize that team, but this team wants to do their own thing. So it'll be here in Starkville, everybody pats you on the back and tell you how great you are after, because we're undefeated right now. But they know what's coming, and they got to be prepared.
Do you think kind of having experienced that feeling of what it's like to win motivates them to kind of get to that again?
I think so. I just think the new group is just they have new goals, new plans. Obviously, that's always the big goal, but a lot of our young kids, they're not even smart enough to realize it right now. They want to try to win a spot and find a role for them, and some of our older guys are just we're trying to get better.